Alright, hey, so this is RG from Synthetik Source. We're here with Flash and Hauptmann Krause, aka HK, however you want to say that. So I just had a few questions. We've been talking for a little while. So just from the top, is Heavy Gunner your favorite class from Synthetik 1?
It is. Heavy Gunner and Engineer.
Very nice. That's those are two pretty good classes. I feel like Heavy Gunner does a really good job at engaging the field. I feel like he could really own the field, put his name on it if he wanted to leave it at that. But I think Heavy Gunner is quite capable. Engineer is a lot of fun, and I feel like you could do just as much damage as you could Heavy Gunner. But that aside, the next question I had for you was if you could start with any item in Synthetik 1 or Synthetik 2 to go with your class, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Maybe Lightning Boots.
Nice, pretty good choice overall. Next question here is just in general, how do you feel about modding with Synthetik 2?
It's been overall enjoyable. There's certainly some moments where I want to rip my hair out, but that's going to happen with any modding tools. I mean, we're lucky to even have them. I'm just glad I'm not having to actually write anything in C#. God.
Yeah.
So I saw you moaning yesterday on Discord. What was it about? It was about some of your action, about hiding some classes and not being able to recover them.
It was a real pain in the neck. It was. I was just trying to hide some stuff for the public release. You know, I've got testing beds, obviously, and I don't want those in the full release. And if I tried to copy the depot, it causes all sorts of different things to break with everything, really. So I wanted to save myself that pain. And it was just a whole mess. Ugh.
Didn't you have something like that similar to that, Cypher? Didn't one of your experimental guns make it into the game somehow?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So this was closer to the beginning of my modding career with Synthetik 2, where I went and everything I didn't realize. I thought I was just uploading a specific item to the mod page, not realizing that I'm actually uploading the entire depot. And so what had happened is someone was just playing the game, whatever, and they ran into a gun of mine, which at the time it still is. It's called Combo Attack. It's not finished, but whenever you fire the gun, it spawns like 30 or 60 Roombas at your feet. And when I saw this, I was both freaking out, laughing my head off. I was like, I don't know how you got that gun. I didn't upload it. What the hell happened? So I was losing my mind and panicking at the same time trying to fix it. So I ended up going scorched earth on my mods that I uploaded, and so all the stuff I had up to that point had just been completely removed because I was just like, I don't want the game to be broken any more than it already is.
Did you see that? Did you see the Roombas, HK? The Roomba gun?
I have not actually, but I can imagine how funny that must be. I love me some Roombas, and as much as they were a pain, the Doombas in S1 definitely need to make a comeback sometime soon.
Overall, it could be kind of tricky to mod with Synthetik 2 right now. I think that's easy enough to say and leave it at that. But my next question for you, was there anything you learned with your time during the whole modding thing? Was there anything you learned specific about balancing when it comes to mods that maybe others should take time to understand?
Well, it's definitely not something exclusive to mods, and this is going to be a bit of a long answer, so I'm going to be here rambling for a minute or two. I have a long history of playing tabletop games and just making a lot of different stuff, right? Mods, actual dedicated homebrew things, whatever. And I have always had a sense of fair play. I always think that what you have should do its job and do it well, but it shouldn't be so outstandingly bad or good that there's no point in picking it up or picking anything else up. And so, with my vast experience playing Dungeons and Dragons and other games where I could go in, physically make things myself, like shoot, even Little Big Planet, if you've ever heard of that.
Man, that's old. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it was always something I wanted to try and make sure that it played well. Even if the enemy had what you had, that it wouldn't feel unfair. So, I think the most important thing that I've ever gathered from that is that you need to test not using the tools yourself. You need to test the enemy using them against you to its fullest potential. And if you feel like you're being unfairly fucked over, then it's not ready. And it needs a little bit more time in the oven. It's a work of passion, right?
Yeah.
It's something you need to have a lot of love for and a lot of patience with. It's something that you're not going to get right the first time, not the second time, not the third time. You're never going to get it right. The best you can do is try and get it to as close to perfection as you humanly can. It will never reach perfection. Just strive for it.
Good advice.
Thanks, HK, for turning me away from ever going into modding myself. That was. I'll be honest, mate. Okay, that's exactly what I'm so afraid of getting into the modding tool is exactly because of that. you got to have a passion for it, and I don't think that's everyone in a community, for sure. I think you really have to have a passion for it, and I really don't think it's for everybody.
This next question has to do with the Marine class, going back to that for a moment. You do have 2 pistols. You have 4 weapons you could choose from, but you have 2 pistols to start. One of the weapons is similar to a shotgun, while the other is a rifle. What kept you from making a launcher available, even potentially in place of a pistol?
The Marine is not going to never start with a rocket launcher. That is something I believe should be exclusive to the Rocketeer. That's their entire gimmick, and there are very few rocket launchers in the game. I don't want to encroach upon the niche of the Rocketeer, regardless of my feelings towards how it's balanced. I am open to do alternatives, and I'm definitely thinking about making more classes in the future, so you can look forward to more stuff from me. And some of those, if people want them, could include rockets. Who knows? It's something that I'll get to when I get there.
That's pretty good. That's a good answer. I do think it's fair to not like put your fingers in everyone's food, but maybe just your own. The idea of a focus should be focused on. If you wanted something to be this thing does everything, then you could do that, certainly, but I feel like that would really damage your ability to enjoy other things potentially. I mean, everyone's different, but I do think that's a good way to go about it, because I don't think it's necessarily a good idea to give your like superhero character, say for instance in some game or some universe, the ability to do everything under the sun and have potentially like no downsides as far as whatever you consider a downside. So I think that's overall a good way to go about it. I think that's a healthy way to design things, and I appreciate that you decided to go about that. I know that both pistols are different, so that's probably good, because you may want the idea of a pistol with you, but you may have different ideas about what a pistol should be for you as the player. Last question I had for you was, is there anything you'd want in Synthetik 2 that you haven't seen yet?
There's definitely the issue of S1 assets. I know that they used 2D sprites for that game, but I would certainly like to see everything from Synthetik 1 brought over to Synthetik 2. Every weapon, every sprite, every model, all that jazz. Just so we can play around with them. And also a color picking tool. A lot of the models are multicolor, and some of the differences between them is just color or slight tweaks. So I would like to see them compartmentalize the models into different pieces, give us unique bases which we can add on to without having to completely model our own entities and such with external programs. It's certainly a long shot, and it's certainly asking a lot. I understand that. But it's something I feel would greatly diversify the modding range of the game, and also give them more tools to work with the game itself. It becomes much less of a hassle trying to put together new assets when all of them can just click into one another.
Good stuff, good stuff. And I think a lot of people would love to have those options as well. Like something I remember, we were talking earlier about things that we'd like to see in the game, and I couldn't really think of anything at the time. But then I remembered the spider boss. And the model for the spider boss is available for people to actually use with their custom classes. I'm not kidding, yeah. And one thing that I really want is the resize tool, like a tool to resize models and stuff, because I'd love to resize the spider boss and have it be like Spider Army class. I think that'd be really sweet.
Can it not even get through doorways at the moment? That thing is huge, isn't it?
No, yeah, it can't get through doorways, and when you spawn in to any given map, your character is on a completely different plane. You're like above everything, quite literally. So like whenever you fire, unless the thing you're shooting isn't like a grenade or something that touches down and does damage, you're not doing damage to anything. So yeah.
That's pretty darn funny. Would love, by the way, for reference sake, would love to see a playable spider class for sure.
Oh, I have some ideas regarding that. I've got experience with spiders.
Nice. But that's going to do it for my questions here. And this has been Flash Hazardous and Hauptmann Krause and RG. And it was nice having you all today. And we'll talk again real soon.